What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on either twitch.tv/MVP vids, or you're watching on MVP Sports on YouTube. My name is Ricky Widmer, and we're back for another jam-packed day of sports news and topics. I'm joined, like I always am, finally after a week off. I hope he enjoyed his vacation. Got to go to the beach. You were back Friday, but you're kind of like, you were obviously in vacation mode, which I don't blame you for. And it was nice having you back.
Vacation mode. I mean,
very late. It was very laid back, Dave. I liked it, but it was.
I'm more laid back. I'm laid further back today than I was that day.
But you're on a couch on Friday. I'm joined with the beautiful face, Dave Oster. Dave, how you doing after being back in normalcy?
Can I go back to vacation again? I worked one day. Can I take another vacation week? We're hitting that point of the year. It's a struggle, people.
Dave's like, I gotta go back to the beach.
Would love to go back to not working. That would be great. Continue to pay me, but I don't want to work it.
Well, we got a jam-packed show for you guys. We got NBA today, a little bit of MLB and NFL kind of squeaking its way in there, but Dave, before I get to housekeeping and everything, I've got two important questions for the masses.
The masses,
the people of MVP. And we have had two things happen over the weekend that, one, I just want to know your take on it, and two is straight blasphemy. First, I'm going to get to the straight blasphemy, is that we had a couple of our patrons, and one of them being a Da Boy now, which is even more blasphemous, but Soapy and Demon in our Discord yesterday, and then they brought it over into my MLB The Show Twitch stream last night, saying that deep dish pizza, the beloved pizza from Chicago, is not real pizza. I think they're out of their minds. Out of their goddamn minds, Dave.
Now, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand where they're coming from. It is a special type of pizza. It is a subcategory of pizza. It's not what I think of when I think of Chicago style pizza. I think of pub style, which is what we do. We do the tiny little square cuts. Yeah. That seems to be more Chicago style pizza, but deep dish pizza is a subclass underneath the pizza tree. You can't eat that and not say that at some point it was pizza. You know?
Soapy says it's a meat pie, which my definition is
I would disagree strongly.
It doesn't always have meat in it. Like a cheese deep dish pizza is not a meat pie because there's no meat in it.
True. Well,
he then called it a bread bowl, which it's not true. Like, yeah, it's got crust, kind of like walls, but a bread bowl to me is like what you get from Panera. It's got soup in it. I'm not putting tomato sauce in there.
No, I mean, that's the problem. You say some blasphemous shit like that, and you just find yourself with the Discord banned for 24 hours. You know, we got to keep it civil.
Did you do that?
We got to keep it civil.
The other question I have for you, yet food related, because I blew Soapy's mind with this. Soapy and Sean with this. Dave, I got a question for you. Very simple question.
I have an answer.
When it comes to either saltine crackers or graham crackers, have you ever put butter on them?
Graham crackers, yes.
See, I'm not crazy. I was like, man, I put butter. We were talking about graham crackers because Soapy came up with the weird fact that I guess graham crackers were invented to stop masturbation. And it got to the point.
I don't believe that.
Whatever. That's what he said. That's not the point of this. The point is, I was like,
not true.
The point of this was, hey, I put butter. Whatever. That's what he said. I'm not saying it's true. That's not the point here. The point is, I put butter on my graham crackers, and both of them like, you put butter on your graham crackers? I was like, you never put butter on graham crackers? I'm like, I even put butter like on saltines, and they're like, you put butter on crackers? Like, yeah, you put butter on. Is it a Chicago thing again? We just put butter on shit?
When I'm drinking my hot tea, if I want to eat something, I kind of convince it to. Graham cracker to me is like similar to a scone.
Yeah.
So I'm drinking my
thicker.
tea. No, it's thinner. Scones are thin.
I was going to say, like, compared to like or what's the word I'm looking for? Like a saltine is like, when you bite into it, it's like, it falls apart very easily. Where like a graham cracker, I can go and it stays together better.
Butter on a saltine is disgusting, you sick fuck.
I mean,
but graham crackers, 100%. Like, you ever have a cinnamon graham cracker with some butter on it and some hot tea, and you just going back and forth? Like, that is what I call myself a morning. I usually have that when I was sick. Like, as a kid, I remember like eating graham crackers and drinking hot tea. So for me, it's very special. I think the saltine thing, you have a problem, and you should go see someone about that.
My thought process was, is it either a Chicago thing, because I'm not the only person I know that puts, like, especially graham crackers, butter on it, or two, I'm thinking, is it a Midwest thing, because we're kind of fatter than everyone,
Butter
not
everything.
everyone, but like, or a what
Do you
thing?
butter everything? Butter everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what else I put butter on. Waffles sometimes, pancakes sometimes, but that's normal to me.
Yeah, that's normal.
I butter both sides of my bread on a sandwich, or both sides of toast.
Wait,
I always toast it.
I was like, you butter your bread on a sandwich. What kind of sandwiches are you buttering?
So, like, if I'm making a ham sandwich, or if I'm making a ham sandwich and I don't use mayo, ham.
There's an M.
Yeah, ham is what I meant to say. If I'm making a ham sandwich or a turkey sandwich, if I don't have mayo, I can't, like, the bread is then too, like, I got to have something on that side. So if I have to use butter, I'll use butter, but usually it's mayo that I put on it. But I butter both sides of that, which I found out some people only butter or mayo half their sandwich, which...
I think that's more normal.
But the cracker thing, I just wanted to ask, because I don't think I'm crazy for putting especially graham cracker.
Is 110% disgusting, and I think you're the only person who would butter a saltine.
I don't know. I gotta find out. If there's someone else in the world that puts butter on saltines.
Really, Sean, mayo is not nasty. Mayo is
delicious.
Amazing. I feel like it's a thing for a lot of people when you're younger. Mayo is disgusting, but as an adult, mayo is amazing. Mayo is a flavor enhancer for sandwiches, and like same with pickles. I did not like pickles growing up. But now, if you dice some pickles, you put them in some mayo, we got ourselves a little bit of a thing going on. It is so good on a burger. So good on a burger.
Was it just dill pickles or like the circle pickles?
I'm good with sweet or dill. Have you ever had the Famous Dave's hot pickles?
Yes.
Like those things. Oh, I could just snack on those all day.
Yeah.
So good.
I think that's all the food stuff I brought. I wanted to get it out here so everyone sees and we can get more people in it. I would love to. Like, Mark had talked about doing a cooking show, but then he didn't. I don't think there's a part of me where he's like, he made it a goal on Patreon. I was like, if you're going to make it a goal on Patreon, do you really want to do it? But he's talked about it. You've talked about it. I've said, hey, if you guys want to do it, I'm open to it. We just got to plan how we would do that, but I'm down for a cooking show if you guys want to add that. But let's get into housekeeping before we start the actual show. Real short today. I made a change to the Team Fit videos because I thought of something over the weekend. And it was basically for about 4 of them. Yep. I was going to record them before the draft order was set.
That's not a great idea.
So the patrons would see it like, oh, this makes sense. But the rest of YouTube would see it and be like, well, the draft order's already set. This is pointless. So I decided, hey, I'm just going to prolong everything a week until after the draft order is set. So nobody calls me an idiot. I don't have to call anyone else an idiot. And it's a better world out there. Number 2, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you support the show. And then number 3, these are eventually going to be going to podcast services. If you're on Twitch, you can always catch a show on YouTube. Like Tim, one of our patrons, said, could you do the show a little bit later? I'm at work when you record. And I said, yo, bro, you can catch it on YouTube after the fact. And then
we'd love to have you here live, but yeah.
If you're on YouTube, you can always catch it live around 4:30, between 4:35 Central Time is usually when we go live. But Dave, we got a jam-packed show, and most of this show is going to be the NBA playoffs. This is kind of a little first round preview, but also with our predictions. How we're going to do this is we'll start with the first round. We'll either pick the West or the East, go through each matchup, kind of give our thought for the matchup, do a little like preview, then give our prediction. And then after that, when we get to the second, third, we'll kind of talk about some scenarios that we may be creating. But we're going to whittle it down until you have picked a champion, I have picked a champion, and these are our make or break predictions. So, Dave, before we start, I'm going to ask you, do you want to start in the West or do you want to start in the East?
Let's go to the East. Let's get the easy shit out the way.
That's what I was thinking. So we're going to start with probably the matchup that I do not care about whatsoever, only because I think this is a 4-game sweep. But we've got the Milwaukee Bucks going up against the Orlando Magic. Do the Magic win a game here? That's the only question I have for this one.
One game is a tough ask, but I think they could be up to it. The only reason I say that is because we've seen this Bucks team, refuse to close out games. Now, that was during the bubble when, the game didn't matter as much. So I want to say they won't, but no. The Magic will not win a game. They are so hurt. I feel so bad for the Magic, but awful injury luck. I wish they will be a healthier team in 2021. But for this year, no, they get 4-0'd. The Bucks are just too good.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, this series is more about the Bucks than it is the Magic because of what you said. The Bucks in the bubble have not had that same kind of momentum that we would have liked to see. Whereas teams like we talk about, there are other teams that lock down their spot, like the Lakers and the Clippers. And we're not talking about are the Lakers, are they not having the confidence? Are they going to have issues in the playoffs? No, even though they've lost some games in the bubble, they still played well throughout the bubble. Where I feel like the Bucks have been on a different side. So for me, the thing I really need to see from this series, and it's the most important thing for me, is can Giannis get his groove back? Basically, can Stella get their groove back? Because this could be the series. What if they sweep the Magic? They're okay, this is how we play Milwaukee Buck basketball because they're going to need it because in the second round, they're going to have to face either the GOAT TJ Warren or the guy with the biggest chip on his shoulder in Jimmy G buckets.
I mean, let's just jump into that now.
It's the hottest series. The hottest series. I think.
How is that the hottest series?
I think it is. In the East, for sure in the East, it's the hottest series. Maybe the hottest series of all. Maybe second to a different series that we're going to get to. But before we move on, I'm just going to say Bucks in 4. Final prediction before anyone gets confused.
First round, that series MVP will go to...
Is there an MVP for each?
No, there isn't. I'm just saying, I'm going to light it up most in that Bucks series is going to be Pat Connaughton. Because that's just going to eat trash time.
Kyle Korver?
No. He'll be fine, but Korver's got to rest those legs, rest those arms, He's got limited minutes, but Pat Con's going to eat a whole lot of garbage time, I feel.
So, Pacers Heat, the thing I'm looking at here, Jimmy has came out, 2 things about Jimmy Butler.
Right,
first, he comes out with they ask him about the Chris Paul, the hard foul, and he goes, I don't need no friends in the bubble.
Correct.
I feel like Jimmy Butler has a chip on his shoulder, and he has a type of intensity that I cannot wait to see in these playoffs. But number 2, do you believe him when he says the TJ Warren Jimmy beef is squashed?
No.
In this series, no. I don't think Jimmy's going to let it go. And either we're going to get pissed off Jimmy and a great performance from TJ, and they're going to be great games. That's what I'm hoping for. I think this series might go the distance and go 7, but I don't believe him when he says, nah, that beef is squashed. Yeah.
What world are you in where this series goes 7?
Goes 7 games.
Did you watch what the Heat did to the Pacers?
They
played days ago.
I said it could go 7.
They played days ago. What happened in that game?
1 game. Is 1 game a playoff? We have said numerous times before, a 7-game series is different than a regular season game. These two teams, for the Pacers, it all determines on, has TJ Warren, is there still shit left in his tank? Because if there is, he can carry them against this Heat team, but I do like the Heat better than I like the Pacers.
Heat 4-1.
4-1.
4-1. The Pacers are missing their best player, Domantas Sabonis. Victor Oladipo is still not seemingly 100% back to where he was prior to his horrible injury.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it works for them. I don't think they've got the firepower to match the Heat. I mean, they've got my boy Dougie McBuckets out there off the bench dropping threes, and he is great. I got none but love for TJ Warren lighting it up. But we all know in the fourth quarter,
Mario Chalmers.
Okay, sorry. I got this Steve Naismith impersonation. No, it's Jimmy Butler and this Miami Heat team are too deep, too good defensively, and have enough guys where offensively they're gonna get somebody to light it up. Whether it's your Duncan Robinson, your Bam Adebayo, your Jimmy Butler, your Tyler Hero, your Goran Dragic. DJJ had a horrific looking fall. I don't know what his status is for the series, but hopefully he's doing okay out there. But no, like Kelly O has. I mean, he can just pick up fire. Myers Leonard even has an offensive game. Like they have so many offensive weapons. It's just like these two guys will click game one, and those two game two, and on game three will be these three guys. It's just any given night, it's somebody else can bring the damage, and they can do it to you in so many different ways. Whether it's Jimmy getting the line, Hero from three, Kelly O working the mid, Bam killing the post. Like they just got all the right options and all the right weapons, and I think the Pacers are just not enough without all their pieces. It would be a different story if they were fully healthy, but they're not.
Yeah, so. I see this going 7? No. Could it go 7? Yes. And that's why, like, out of all the Eastern Conference matchups, this is the only one to me that gets my jimmies going in just any way. Because, like, I think that the other two we're even going to talk about, there are clear winners in those series. But the thing I will say that about Jimmy, and you kind of touched on it, is when you're talking about his teammates.
Yep.
I think this is a Jimmy Butler. This is going to be a Jimmy Butler and team playoff performance that we have not seen since Jimmy was matched up with Derrick Rose in Chicago. Because, like, I think about it, and I was actually talking over the weekend with Soapy and Sean about this, where you think of the last year in Chicago. Although I hated Jimmy for that year and how he treated Hoiberg and how he basically carried himself as a leader of that team. You think about it, and he really didn't have a team that responded well to his type of motivation.
Talking shit. Yes.
Yeah, talking shit. It didn't gel with him.
There was no filter.
Then he goes to the T-Wolves where Cat and Wiggins were soft. SAWFT mentally.
Soft?
Where Jimmy Butler came in and was like, yo, I'm going to push you harder than you've ever been pushed before. And Wiggins and Cat cried in the corner. That was basically how that went in my mind. Of like looking back at it, where these teammates that he has in Miami have been conditioned to an attitude where, to me, like Jimmy Butler was perfect for Miami because it's the type of culture that, like, Pat Riley's going to set up this culture. Yeah. Eric Spoelstra is an extension of that. And then it trickles down even to Jimmy on the court to where with the Heat and the rest of my predictions, you're going to have to see how they play out. The Heat might be my favorite to make it out of the East, potentially. But we're going to have to see what plays out. I think Heat in 6 in this one. I think it's a good series. Pacer play better than what people think they're going to do. But in the end, Jimmy G buckets and the Heat move on.
TJ Warren soft.
And did you give, I know you said Heat, but did you give how many games? You said
5.
Okay.
I said 4-1.
Okay. The next one, Celtics Sixers. To me, this is probably the second best series in the East, depending on injured Ben, injured Joe. Are they coming back? When they're coming back? But this is one to me where I think this is at most Celtics in 6, at least Celtics in 5. I think even let's say there's a game where Embiid and Simmons don't play. I think that Richardson, I think Horford, I think Toby can maybe steal one game in the Orlando bubble. But but to me, I'd have to say Celtics in 5. This Celtics team, positionless basketball, Dave. They got probably the best, if not the second best, head coach in the conference. And I think that Brad Stevens, Tay, Jaylen Brown, they're going to move on without a problem against a Philadelphia 76ers team that has kind of gone boo in my mind.
That's fair. I think Celtics in 5 is definitely the right thought. There's just too many unknowns with the 76ers and what they're bringing to the table any given night. Obviously, Ben's health, biggest concern. Joe's health, always a concern. Where their offense is coming from, who's going to match up with who. We heard talks about Matisse Thybulle perhaps breaking into that starting lineup against the Celtics from Brett Brown. So I think they've just got a lot of questions they still have to answer. I don't know how they're going to match up firepower-wise. I think the only way that this series goes longer is if Kemba also is not 100% healthy. You know, he had missed a couple games, got the knee. But I think the Celtics are right now by far the better team. I think they're the team that's playing modern basketball as far as their offensive style, defensive style, being able to switch on everything. So I like them in the series, and I don't think it's going to be especially close. I mean, I think the games will be close, but that's just because the nature of, like, Philly's a tough team. They're going to play you close. I just don't think they're going to be able to pull out enough games. So, yeah.
Does Horford play up for this series? I know that Horford's play has been a big talk, especially in our Discord when it comes to like Jake and Sean and the Philly fans, especially Jake. Does he play up for this series going up against his old team? Like, you'd expect that to basically be some bulletin board material, but will it like amount to anything?
I mean, he's a long-term veteran. He's been in many playoff series, so I don't know if it's bulletin board material anymore. Really, at that point, you got to motivate yourself any way you want to. But I do think he plays decently well. But it's just the dude's playing against Gordon Hayward or Jason Tatum at the 4. Good luck with that either way. Gordon Hayward's got it back, and he is moving and grooving out there. Much faster than Al Horford, so that's a bad matchup. If they play him at the 5, there will be some matchups he can take advantage of at that point, but we'll see. That'll probably be limited time. Thankfully, the Celtics are a team where they don't rely on their 5, so Horford has a chance to look good in this series, yes, but looking good will still not come close to making up for that contract anytime soon.
Yeah,
just want to remind you all about that amazing contract that Al Horford signed this offseason.
And that's why I feel like, for me, this is Celtics. I'm going to give the Sixers a game because maybe there's a game that Embiid blows up in and wins. I know Sean in the Twitch chat says he doesn't think Ben is playing at all, which, I mean, would be a smart choice because I don't know if, even with Ben, I don't think it's a for sure that the Sixers get out of this series. I'm going to give them a game. I'm going to be nice because of all the firepower you said, Brown, Tatum, Hayward. If Kemba's healthy, that's just more fuel to that fire. I'm going to say Celtics in 5 for this one, though.
Is this the series that gets Brett Brown fired?
Yeah, it should. If it doesn't, then I don't know what they're doing in Philly.
That's the thing. Last year. Are they going to give him the benefit of the doubt due to injuries and extend and continue his tenure as a head coach? I pray not. I think that he is capped out as far as what he can do with this team and this roster. And as a coach, I don't think he's come up with any creative solutions to how to run an offense, how to run a system with these guys, getting the most out of them. I understand when everybody's healthy, they can do some good things. It's just if you can't beat the teams at the top and you've got a salary cap where it's at right now, you're stuck, you're stuck. You're just, you can't get over the hill. Sorry.
Yeah. I hope it, you never want to wish for someone to get fired, but
you gotta understand what the time is saying.
When's enough? And that's what I've been saying for about 2 or 3 years now. When it's come to the 76ers and then the last series, this game actually going on right now, or this series game 1 is going on right now as we're recording this on Twitch because the NBA doing a little March Madness style when it comes to
basketball.
When it comes to the scheduling because of the bubble. But we've got Raptors Nets coming into this one as we're speaking about it, so you on YouTube after the fact know where we were when we gave these thoughts. Raptors currently lead with 8:14 in the 4th. 108-94. This was a series that, because I was watching early in the game, and it was a point of emphasis the announcers hit early of, is this Raptors team good? Yes. Are they well coached? Yes. But when it comes to playoff basketball, do they have that guy? Do they have the guy, like Nick Nurse said, when the chips are on the line, give the ball to him, he's going to make something happen. And they're hoping that's Pascal Siakam, or as he's been known here on MVP, C-Scam. But they want that to be Siakam. Now, Kyle Lowry has said that it doesn't matter if he's ready for the moment. We're going to make him ready for the moment, which I kind of like, where it's like, we're going to kind of like, this is your time. But this Nets team, even though I don't think they make it out of this series, I think if Karis LeVert's the one I'm looking at most. He is the one player for the Nets that if the Nets are going to steal a game, it's because Karis LeVert popped off for like 25 or more points. But in the end,
popping off is more than his average.
Yeah.
35.
I mean, like, for right now, he's got 15, and they're only down, what, fucking, if I'm doing my math right, 6 points. So, like, I mean, it's not maybe more than what I said.
More than 6 points.
What?
It's 94-111.
Okay, it just changed. But, like, for me, he's going to be the one that has to carry them. It's just, I don't know if this Nets team can do it 4 times in a row, and that's why the Raptors, to me, they're the favorite in here. But the big thing is, what are we going to see from this Raptors team? And coming out of it, are we going to see enough to basically say, hey, they can overcome the Celtics in the second round?
I mean, yeah, it's clearly the Raptors are moving on from the series. It's a depleted Nets team. You know, honestly, TLC out there is their fire starter. That's fucking hilarious. He's out there dropping like mid-20s. I think this will be his third game in a row. I think he had like 19, then 24.
He's got 26 right now.
Tonight he's got 26, so 3 games in a row, pretty high scoring. He's shooting 6 and 9 from 3, which is nuts. We're talking about a guy that has bounced between the G League and the NBA, fighting for a contract. He's having his bubble day, bubble week. So credit to him. But yeah, no, this isn't exactly a competition. So I look forward to what the Raptors will do in the next round. But honestly, like, they've got such a good team. That's a really well built team. And you mentioned about C-Scam stepping up to the opportunity. We'll see if he has to during this series. I mean, Fred VanVleet's kind of going dad mode again, so we'll see.
I'm going to say, I'm in my head, I've been flipping back and forth.
Yep.
I'm going to say Raptors in 4, although I wanted to say Raptors in 5. But I think I'm going to lock in Raptors in 4. The Nets might give them a scare in 1 game, but I still think the Raptors win every single 1, 2, 3. Down there also, thank you, Soapy, in Twitch chat. There's the Discord link for those of you in Twitch chat that want to join our Discord and get in on these NBA conversations that are going down. But Dave, let's move over to the West. We'll do the West first round, then we'll move second round, and we'll kind of work our way in that way. Let's start with the best series out of all these games. And I know when I said Pacers Heat, you know that I know there's another series out there that is going to be more exciting than Pacers Heat.
Like 6 of them.
I was thinking of 1, baby.
You're trying to make beef out of TJ Warren, who is a career backup.
He's the
versus
GOAT.
Jimmy Butler, who is an all-NBA defender, a top 10 player in the NBA.
TJ Warren's been the GOAT. He's going to take it personal, Dave. Don't give him bulletin board material. But the series in the West, the one that I'm most excited for, because you'll hear why in a second, but Lakers-Blazers. Lakers-Blazers. Everyone knows where I stand on this. I know that I saw a video from Colin Cowherd today where he's like, I may have to revisit my Blazers pick because do they have enough in the tank? Blazers in 7. This Blazers team has, like, Dame Lillard, the way Jimmy Butler's talking, we're getting that same type of attitude out of Damian Lillard, because I feel like, and this is me, I don't know Dame personally, I don't have him on speed dial, but Dame, to me, sounds like a guy that I was this close to the finals last year. This close. We should have beat, maybe in his mind he thinks they should have beat that Warriors team, and should have went to the finals. But this is a Damian Lillard I think we have not seen ever in his career when it comes to the hunger, the wanting of getting to the NBA Finals. This Laker team, too, I don't think they're at full strength, where, yes, they've got LeBron, yes, they've got AD. Kyle Kuzma can give you a good game and hit a nice shot from the corner like he did against, I think that was the Nuggets game, that he did that, but I don't expect him to do that night in, night out. This Blazers team, if Nurkic brings it, if CJ, Dame, they just need a little bit from Melo. Just if Melo can give them 18 a night, that's the least he needs to do in order to this team. Like, that's why I feel like the Blazers are going to have more weapons and more of a hunger. Oh, I forgot to mention Gary Trent Jr., who didn't have a good game on Saturday, but he's been having a great bubble. I'm saying it. Blazers in 7. Blazers are going to shock the world. Yes, the Lakers will be up 3-2, but then the Blazers will win 2 straight. Melo game winner, or Melo dagger in game 6 to force a game 7, and then Dame wins it with a game-winning shot in game 7. That's the story. That's what's going to happen. Mark it down. Blazers move on.
Blazers in 7.
Oh, yeah. You're saying it too?
Yeah. Ricky on his hype beast shit there. Blazers in 7. Nurkic eats AD for lunch. Like, that's just the dude's a monster. He's a freak of nature. He's basically what Daddy Sabonis was, but in the modern day. We haven't seen Dame want to win like this. Get out of here. Like, Damian Lillard's never had a better team is what's going on.
Well, that too.
Damian Lillard hasn't wanted to win more. No, talk about last year. Talk about the year before that. Like, he's wanted to win every single year. It's just now he has a team that will actually help him get there. It's not even the best team because, God forbid, they had Rodney Hood back. This team would be disgusting. But still, they're a very good team, and I think the Lakers are very poor, and they're in they're in bad shape. Like, they got to this point in the season because they have Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And in the playoffs, you're not going to play those bench players a ton. The problem is that without any third guy on that team to step up, you brought it up. Is it going to be Kyle Kuzma? Is it going to be J.R. Smith? Is it going to be fucking Deion?
Rondo might be coming. Rondo is out of quarantine.
The man who's been a net negative for the Lakers all years. Could he turn into playoff Rondo out of literally nowhere? It's a long shot. He could. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I love the Lakers. They're a great team, but this would be the worst. It's almost scary to say, but like, is this LeBron James' worst team? I mean, you can't say it is because Anthony Davis is better than Kyrie or Kevin Love.
That Cavs team.
Of the two of them.
That Cavs team.
And they were hurt. So healthy AD versus not healthy. I don't know. It's up for conversation. But I mean, LeBron James is going to have to average about 30, 10, and 10, and AD is going to have to average about 40 and 15 the series in order to win this shit. And they got to do that 4 times out of 7. It's an ask. But I'm going Blazers in 7. I'm with you.
The year when you say LeBron's worst team, I'm going to say this. That Cavs team that should have lost to the Celtics, a Kyrie-less Celtics in the playoffs,
Yep.
The Toon Squad is better than that team, Dave. And the Toon Squad's not even real. So there's no team in my mind that is going to be the worst LeBron James team than that team. He kicked it.
Staff. I mean, Anthony Davis is better than a lot of people combined. I get you. You could stack 3 players on one man's shoulders, but like, it's still you look around and you're like, man, do I trust? No.
And Twitch chat's letting us have it, Dave. I just gotta say, they're taunting me for yes, I know like 18 points from Melo's not a little, but also like they're giving us shit for the Gary Trent thing. Eric says he's face palming right now. Sophie
Gary Trent
says Gary Trent has a bad offensive game, but a great defensive game.
He had a bad offensive game.
And they're telling us that playoff Rondo is better than the Blazers. That's what they're telling us.
Playoff Rondo could beat any team. Like, whatever. Get out of here, man. Playoff Rondo was the best player in the series between the Celtics and the fucking Heatles. Like, I get out of here. Like, that man was insane. So, no, don't talk about the playoff Rondo.
But let's move on. Both of us said Blazers in 7. How about the next one that is, to me, only interesting because of two things. One, the small thing of the Thunder at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
I saw a graphic that ESPN had from their first game that they were a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs. And because Russell Westbrook, I feel like they said he's going to miss 2, maybe 3 is what they said with his injury. To me, this is a series that are the Rockets the favorite? Yes, because they've got James Harden. But this is a series where the Rockets better be careful because they might get upset by OKC.
No shit. Losing out on the second best player in the series is going to be hard to win games still. Like, I love Russell Westbrook. Brody's my fucking boy. Ride or die. But, like, it's going to be Rockets in 6 or 7 is the problem because he's not going to be available and because we've seen incredible inconsistencies out of Eric Gordon. That man turns it on for the playoffs usually. I want him to be back. I want him to be good. I don't know that he will be back. So it's just, I have to go cautious. I understand the Thunder are a very good team. I think they are well balanced. I think they're a very smart team on the court. They've got an idiot for a head coach, unfortunately, but like, that's okay. It's okay. You got Chris Paul. He's basically your head coach anyway. But just, no, the Rockets are going to win the series. It just depends on 6 or 7, depending on Russell Westbrook's health. So that's where I'm at.
Who would you rather have a head coach, Scott Brooks or Billy Donovan?
Ooh, give me Billy.
Because you say biggest idiot, it's like, ooh, I think I can find another one out there.
Billy Donovan, I give a lot of shit to, but like he did coach 3 MVPs. He did do good. They got to, the NBA Finals. They got to the Western Conference Finals a couple times. Like, they were a very good team. It's just, did they underachieve because of him is the question. Maybe I give him too much. He's not an awful head coach. Memes.
For this though, I know that we're gonna give our personal awards. But I will say with Billy Donovan, yes, he, like Chris Paul, did a lot of work to bring this team to a playoff, especially after they traded Russell Westbrook this offseason. But there's a part of me when I saw the actual finalists for Coach of the Year, I was like, Nick Nurse should probably get it. I think wasn't it? I know Billy Donovan was one. It was Billy Donovan, Budenholzer, and Nick Nurse, I believe, were the 3 candidates. I'm like, Nick Nurse should probably win it. But I'm like, there should be a case for Billy Donovan for this team. I mean, just the fact alone that to coach this team after trading Russell Westbrook, to coach them into not just the 8th seed, but like they made it all the way to the 5th seed. That's why where it's like, I don't think he wins it, but I think there should be a case.
The roster? And tell me that Danilo Gallinari, somebody who is putting up, just shy of 20 points a game on incredible efficiency. Steven Adams, year in, year out, one of the best screeners, one of the best pick and roll men, one of the strongest guys in the NBA. And Chris Paul, the fucking best pure point guard in the NBA since Boo-Foo. Like, really? That we're surprised by 3 very good players.
No, I know the team is. I know the team is good.
6 the year backup, who's basically a starting point guard. Like, I'm sorry. The only reason they had such a low percentage of making the playoffs was because everyone thought they were selling off everything.
Yeah, and that's like
we assumed this roster would be like Darius Baisley, Hamidou Diallo, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander winning, 18 games this season because they literally wouldn't have a player on the team older than 24. Like, it's just the expectations were wrong from the get-go.
Yeah, I
don't give him much credit for things. Maybe not enough. I think his 3 guard setups work really well. I think that he's, had amazing success with using Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as a 1 through 3 seamlessly, playing off Chris Paul and Dennis Schroeder as well. Like, I think they've done a lot of really good things there, but I don't think I give him credit for them winning as many games they did because they kept all the talent. That's in my mind is just kind of like we just status quo'd it.
It's kind of like what you said during the pre-show and maybe this is a topic for another day, like actual topic for another day.
Sure.
The Donovan Mitchell versus Devin Booker, who's better. Not saying Billy Donovan wins it, just saying there's a conversation there. and say he should be in the running, although I would probably pick Nick Nurse out of the 3 nominees if I was gun to my head, got to pick one of those 3. But you said Rockets in 6, right?
I did. I did. Rockets in 6 or 7.
I'm going to be an edgelord here. I'm going to go Thunder in 6.
Sure.
I'm going to say the Thunder go up 2-0 in this series, and that's what's going to carry them, because by the time Brody gets back, Rockets are in a hole, and not even Brody and Harden will be enough to pull them out of it. But moving on, the next series, 1 game already in the books. It was a hell of a game to kick off the NBA playoffs. Nuggets are already up 1-0 in this series. This one's pretty much going to be thoughts of what we had coming into this, plus what we saw in game 1, because this is the only game that's in the books that we can kind of already say, hey, we've seen this series. And the one thing I will say, Dave, is if Donovan Mitchell can keep playing like he did in game 1, I don't know if the Jazz for sure win the series because he had a great performance and they lost. But the Jazz might be in this thing if Don Mitch can keep up what he did in game numero uno.
Dude, I love the love, but there is no chance that the Jazz win this series.
Not a chance.
The Nuggets have the firepower. The Nuggets have the bench depth. They have very little drop off. They've got, a bunch of these wing defenders who can guard 2 through 4 seamlessly. I don't know how the Jazz can win without Mike Conley, without Bojan Bogdanovic. It's just not going to happen. Donovan Mitchell drops damn near 60. They still lose. That's a performance that's unlikely to repeat itself.
Yeah.
And it's not like the other guys had, horrible games either. Obviously, Joe Ingles had I believe, a wrist injury. He continued to play through it, but you could tell his handle was not as clean. He made a poor pass after they had a series where they committed 4 straight turnovers going in, or at the start of overtime, I think. I mean, they're starting their second position of overtime.
Yeah.
It takes them playing at perfection to keep up with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way this team can win a series against the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets, basically, they defaulted to a 2-man game for the last, 10 minutes of the game and still got away with it. And I understand, a 2-man game with Jokic and Murray, pretty good, strong anyway. But, once they continue to use all the pieces they have available to them, the Nuggets are a goddamn juggernaut.
The only thing that confused me is the last possession of regulation. Jamal Murray was a fire starter. This guy was, the last few possessions leading up to that very last one, he was hitting shots. And I'm thinking, I know the Jazz defensively are going to try to force the ball out of Jamal Murray's hands. If I'm the Nuggets, I'm like, it's a tie game. Just don't let it happen. Let Jamal Murray take the final shot. If you miss, you go to overtime. It would have been great if Jokic hit the little hook shot, because of all the shit we gave Jokic at last year's playoffs, being too fat. Now you got skinny Jokic out there, and this is a team that I think in the end, will the Jazz play well enough to win a game or two? Yes. But this Nuggets team, like you said, they defaulted to Murray Jokic, and it was still too much for the Jazz in overtime. If Murray is playing like he did today, especially down stretches, he is going to be the guy in clutch moments to win games for the Nuggets. That's why, for me, I feel like Donovan Mitchell will have good games. I feel like Rudy Gobert kind of creates a problem for the Nuggets in certain matchups. There were times where I believe it was Murray got switched onto him. It's like, if you're getting switched on to Gobert in the post, there's no way Murray's going to be able
no, he got that Kyle Lowry booty to back it up.
That Kyle Lowry booty. But I'm going to give the Jazz a little bit more credit than I think they deserve. I'm going to say Nuggets in 6. Kind of wanted to say 5. It's probably going to be 5, but I'm going to say Nuggets in 6.
It's 5.
For the audio listeners out there, Dave is flashing up on 5.
I'm signaling the number 5 on my screen. I agree with you, though. Jamal Murray needs to play. I mean, if he plays as well as he did tonight, they're not losing. But if he can play pretty well, he basically kind of takes over that Kyle that Kyrie Irving type role later in games where he can just light it up because the offense of the other team is so focused on what Jokic can do for them. So they're like, hey, we got to put the extra focus here. If he gets an open look, that happens. But like when he gets hot, he went 6 from 9 from deep, 13 to 20 overall. I mean, he is an electric shooter. And I like what they did. Actually, they went to using Monte Morris out there with him at the same time. And that is just, I mean, choose your poison. You've got 2 incredibly efficient shooters, 2 really good passers at the guard positions there, plus your big man who happens to be a point guard also. So like they have really creative lineups. And I think that's why I like the Nuggets so much. It's just they can attack you in so many different ways. And they can have so many different looks. Today, like we said, 2-man lineup to go down the stretch. Tomorrow they can do something else. The next day, something else. You know, it'll be very interesting to see what they do. But I do believe that it's just there's such a scoring cavern from not having your true point guard out there, as well as one of the best two-way wings in the NBA. I can't see the Jazz making it through this, but it does warm my heart to say the Utah Jazz, had they been full strength, would have been a fucking for teams in the playoffs, which, again, as I said in our Discord, lines up with what we said in our preseason predictions, that the average positional rank had the Utah Jazz at the top of the NBA for damn good reason. When they're all clicking, that team is disgusting. They've got great defenders. They've got great scorers. They can kill you in on both ends of the court. So I look forward to the Jazz going forward, but I just don't think this is their year.
Yeah, and like you've mentioned before, I'll say it one more time. Bogdan not out there.
Bojan.
Like you said, Bojan. Bogdan's with the Kings. Fucking a Bogdanovich.
But it's also Bogdan.
There. So last series, first round, we haven't talked about. They will play their first game tonight. The young Luka Doncic. As a fun fact, they said that Donovan Mitchell is the first player to get, at least 56 in a playoff game since Michael Jordan. They're like, too bad it's in a loss. My fact check was like, if my dumb brain ain't thinking right, I believe Michael Jordan lost to the Celtics as well. When he scored 56 in a playoff game. And then it was, I'm forgetting his name, the play-by-play announcer. I think it's, it starts with a B, but whatever. The play-by-play announcer goes, yeah, but that might not last too much longer because Luka plays tonight. Dave, I don't think Luka's going for 56 against the Clippers.
Prob's not.
How many games does Luka win them, though? Because, like, this is one where I don't think the Mavs win this series. But how good will Luka look against this Kawhi PG-led Clippers team?
A little afraid here. A little afraid for Luke. A little afraid for Cool Hand Luke. I think that this Clippers team, we expect Trez to be back. Pat Bev shortly after. Like, maybe Luka wins one, and it's going to be ugly as shit. Like, it's just, okay. Realistically, it's Clippers in 5 over the Euro. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, Luka's going to get his first playoff experience here, and that's what's most important. It's just, let's see him do what he can in the playoffs. Him and KP, the 2-man wrecking crew that they are, the scoring's going to be insane. I don't expect Luka to shoot good percentages. The Clippers have just defenders coming out their ass. Like, it's just, they've got so many guys who can defend. The only way it's going to work out is if it's just Luka in cleanup time trying to save face, maybe. I don't know. He'll be good. I mean, Luka on bad shooting is still going to be excellent because he'll get to the line, so his true shooting numbers will still be pretty good. But I just don't think that they can match up to everything the Clippers have to offer. So realistically, Clippers are going to win it in 5. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 6 for whatever reason, but also equally unsurprised if it's a sweep. Like, this series, there's zero doubt in my mind that the Clippers will lose. But also, I have no idea what to expect from this Mavericks team because they can score 140 a night.
Yeah.
So that means anything is on the table.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's probably going to be Clippers in 5, but I'm going to backtrack and go Clippers in 4. Like, this could be a series where it's done in an easy 4 games, or it could be one where the Mavericks get one because KP and Luka play well in a game, but I don't know. I just don't like this one for the Mavericks. Like you said, Luka gets playoff experience. This kind of starts the legend of Luka. Where, like, think about Michael Jordan. When he got into the playoffs, He wasn't getting to the finals right away. Look at LeBron. Wasn't getting to the finals right away.
He wasn't a second-year player, was he, when he got to the playoffs? What was Michael Jordan's first playoff appearance? What year was that in?
I'm going to look it up. Live here on the show. Looking it up.
Fact checks live.
Well, I mean, because I know we got to the finals 8 years in. So was it 3 years in? Like it didn't take Michael Jordan long to get to the playoffs, is what I think. Let's see. Basketball reference.
Dropping 20 a game. He'll drop 20, but he'll also only play 12 minutes.
So 84-85 was his first season. His first playoff season. Come on, where's playoff stats? Playoffs. Oh, he made it as a rookie. Bulls made the playoffs as a rookie. He played and started in only 4 games. So they made the playoffs in like 85, 86, 87. But Jordan was only playing 4, 3, and 3 because the Bulls were bad. But in 88, he was 10. The only year he did not make the playoffs was never. Every single year he was in the playoffs with the Bulls. 85, 6, 7, 8, 9, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 9, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. So technically 95 because he came in halfway through that year. But yeah, every time Jordan's played a full season with the Bulls, or close to, he has made the playoffs with that Bulls team.
I mean, to be fair, those are some awful playoff teams. The 86 team won 30 games.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they were good teams, Dave. I'm just
but that was my point. Was hey, he made it pretty early on in his career too. Let's not forget.
LeBron, it took 2 years.
So,
05-06 was his first playoff year. So yeah, it took LeBron his 3rd season to get into the playoffs. Not saying that means one's better than the other. I know Twitch chat's probably going to think that. But
Luka, playoff averages. What do you think he does?
I don't know his regular season averages. This is going to be interesting. I'm gonna go 25. At least 25, 8, and 8. That might be too high.
Luka's regular season average is 29, 9, and 9.
Yeah, so 25, 8, and 8. Like close to where he was in the regular season, but dipped down a little bit less because it's Kawhi. It's Kawhi, Pat Bev. It's a tougher defensive Clippers team. So yeah, I'll say 25, 8, 8. What do you think?
Wow, I mean, usually people get better in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, you say matchup dependent, so that's fair if you're saying Kawhi's going to put the clamps on him, even though I think probably Paul George guarding him more.
Yeah.
I'm going the other way though. I think his efficiency takes a shit, but I think that he's going to put up. I like it. Philly Sean 35, 12, and 10.
Okay,
that's right around where I had him going.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you on that one. I want to give credit to Philly Sean in Twitch chat. Luka's probably going to put up about 35, 12, and 10, and KP is probably going to put up about 32 and 4. Yeah, 32 and 16. 32, 16. We'll go halves. So I see stupid numbers coming for these guys, but it is not going to be a win for them.
So we'll go back to the East. We'll do second rounds on YouTube. I'm going to have graphics up that just like kind of come up to remind you kind of where our stuff is. But on Twitch, you're just going to get it live and go, oh yeah, that's what Ricky and Dave predicted. So for the East, I think we were all the same. We had Bucks, Heat, Celtics, Raptors. We didn't disagree on anything.
No, the East first round is so straightforward.
So for these, we can basically preview these matchups because we have the same ones. Let's start in reverse, though. We'll start with Celtics, Raptors because I feel like I got more spicy takes about Heat, Bucks. Celtics, Raptors,
sure.
What's your mindset going into if this is the second round matchup? Well,
we're getting to see two amazing teams. I mean, I love what the Celtics have with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Kemba's great. Hayward, like we said in the first round, is back. He's working it. The Raptors, I mean, they've got the most complete team. They lost the best player in the NBA from last season, and yet they are a better season, like regular season record, but also look really polished. So it just comes down to that crunch time. Do they have enough guys who could step up because Kawhi is not there? We talked about Pascal Siakam or C-Scam needing to beat the guy. It didn't seem that way. I feel like it's more by committee this year, whereas Jason Tatum on the other side is the guy. And that shit's awesome to watch because Jason Tatum has an it factor to him when he plays, balls in his hands, anything's kind of possible. You feel that way about him, and I think he is, on his way to being a top 10 player in the NBA. I do want to lean Raptors here still.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. I want early on, I felt like the Celtics just had all of the cards in their hands. But I feel like the Raptors and the fact that they have that tandem of Ibaka and Gasol out there will prove too much. Fred VanVleet is shooting fire out there, and if he can continue what he's doing tonight, is going to earn himself about $25 million contract every year.
Mm-hmm.
He was insane. But he's going to be playing NBA caliber defenders in the next round, and that's unlikely to continue at this rate. So I do like the Raptors. I just think that they've got the right guys, the right pieces. And if you wanted guys to defend the wings of the Celtics, who better to ask for? You have OG Anunoby. You have Pascal Siakam. You have guys who can match up. So I think that it's win-win. I think that the Toronto Raptors are one of the best constructed teams in the NBA. They've got good bench depth, and they've got the right guys to defend at the right end. So I'm going Raptors, but it is going to be a nail-biter of a series. Raptors in 7.
Ooh, I agree with you. I'm gonna say in 7. What were you saying? Your mic kind of cut out while I was talking over you.
I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going 7. I think it's going to be like a little bit here, a little bit there, give and take. But it's battle for sure.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to agree with you on the 7 games. The only thing is, and fuck, Basketball Reference ain't working like I want it to. I'm trying to bring up the Celtics playoffs last year.
Sure.
Because off the top of my brain, I'm like, I can't remember if the Raptors they did not. They lost to the Bucks last year. That's right.
Because Chris Middleton's their daddy.
Yeah. So they won't have to see him in the second round. But like for me, I feel like the biggest thing for the Raptors, and it starts in the second round, is you mentioned Fred VanVleet. Game's now over. He scored 30 in game 1 against the Nets.
In limited minutes on, I believe, 8 of 10 from 3.
Yeah.
Which is totally sustainable, guys.
Yeah. Like he is you're right. He's tougher defenders in the next round. And the thing I wonder is the Celtics team I know about. I've seen their toughness when that playoff year they should have beaten the Cavs the Cavs in 7. LeBron ended up beating them. That should have been that Celtics team's final, their like first NBA Finals appearance. I know they've got what it takes when the going gets tough. I don't know if this Raptors team does. Like, I know we want, like, I know last year we're saying they won a title. They won a title. Give them that respect.
They've been in the Eastern Conference playoffs for the last 8 years.
But here's the thing I'm going to ask you. Take the Sixers series last year, and I'm not trying to start a thing of the Sixers should have won. No, that's not why I'm bringing this up.
Ounce.
If Kawhi wasn't there, what does that series look like? Do we even get a moment like that? If we do get a moment like that, and you need a final shot, do you have enough faith in C-Scam, Pascal Siakam?
He's not the guy taking the final shot.
Well, then, like, is it Fred VanVleet? Because, like, the way the Raptors are talking, Siakam's the guy that they're looking to be the guy to put the team on their back in those moments.
That guy yet. He is on track, but he ain't that guy yet. I think they're still a committee team. And, it's going to come from Fred. It's going to come from Kyle. It's going to come from OG any given night. Pascal's going to be constant. You got Gasol. You got Serge. You got Norm. Like, they've got so many. Terrence Davis, even. Like, they've got so many guys on that team who can contribute at a high level, and you'd be confident. If I'm getting a last shot, it's going to Fred.
Okay.
Like, I've not seen a player hotter in the playoffs than he was, and I think that he's been continuing in the bubble. His good shooting is going to continue. So he's my guy. If I've got a last second shot, it's going to Fred.
I'd
love to hear what Raptors fans think, because I'm sure they're going to call me out for being an idiot, overlooking something. But like, I honestly, like, Pascal Siakam. If you're saying,
do you even watch Raptor basketball, Dave?
Do I even watch basketball? No, I never watch that. Never seen a game in my life. Little peach basket.
My favorite thing and Discord channel. If you guys have not joined it, I'm gonna drop that in Twitch chat yet again. And it's down in the description for YouTube. I love EZ. And I love when he hit you with the did you even watch? And you were like, did you hit me with the did you even watch? Me of all people?
Do you know who I am, damn it? Do you know how many games of basketball I watch a year?
Dave is what we call a basketball junkie. With how much he loves basketball. But yeah, I think Celtics in 6.
I apologize. Sure.
What?
Yeah. I apologize for jumping on your. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say Celtics in 6 with this one. I think Celtics win. I don't know if it goes 7. Maybe I'm not believing in the Raptors enough, but I do believe in this Celtics team, and I know what they can do in a playoff series. Then the other one in the East, Bucks Heat. Dave, I'm going to say it. Heat in 7. Jimmy Butler puts the team on his back. He gets enough help from Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Kendrick Nunn, all of them. All of them are giving him help. Heat are going to shock the world and win in 7 games over the Bucks, because I don't care how much they sweep the Magic in the first round. I think this Bucks team ain't the same Bucks team that we saw last year. And I think that carries over, and Jimmy and the Heat are just going to, basically like a boxer, they're just going to hit him with that punch right away, and the Bucks are going to be stumbling from there on out and losing 7. Hell yeah, hit them with that high kick, and they're going to be off balance. They will make it to 7, but Jimmy G Bucket's going to show them that we here, and the Heat move on to the conference finals.
I mean, in theory, if that happened, 2 things. 1, I would be elated because it gives Jimmy Butler license to talk all the shit. I mean, you just can't check the man. He would be on cloud 9 at that point. It'd be great. 2, it means that Giannis is literally reenacting Kevin Durant. He will be leaving your ass and going to the Heat after being eliminated by the Heat. I know it's a year in advance, but still, that's what it is. That's what it do. That would be great. I think that the Magic are the perfect tune-up series for this Bucks team, though. Mm-hmm. I think that's where Stella's going to find her groove. And I think that I love the Heat, but I don't know that you're going to count on excellent performances from young guys in their first playoffs. Like Kendrick Nunn all year has been great. He's trailed off percentage-wise. He's struggled a bit at the end. Tyler Hero's come on fire and cold and fire and cold. Duncan Robinson shoots lights out, but he gets exposed on the defensive end. It's like you just have so many young guys on that team where I don't know that I'm confident to trust them when it counts. I think you can beat the Pacers because the Pacers are a team that I've always doubted, and especially now with their injuries, missing pieces, that's fine. But the Bucks. I don't. It's just so hard in my mind to say that the Bucks will lose in 7 to this Heat team. I would love it. But my heart tells me Heat, but my mind tells me Bucks in 6.
Dave's the classic. My mind, it's telling me no, but my heart, it's telling me yes, or something like that. That's it.
Yeah. Horrible person. Great song.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Heat in 7. You said Bucks in how many?
Bucks in 6.
In 6.
I'm boring. I just want to be right.
The next round we had the same ones. No, we differed on Rockets Thunder. So the one thing we'll do because the first one we'll talk about is Blazers. I got Blazers Thunder. Dave has Blazers Rockets. What are your thoughts for your series if it is Blazers Rockets in the second round?
Blazers Rockets, you're getting the best backcourts in the NBA right now because obviously Clay and Steph are hurt. Which means that CJ and Dame playing like the best point guard in the NBA right now. I love it. I mean, as a series, it intrigues me because you get the different mentalities. You get the old school Trailblazers playing with Zach Collins, Skinny Mello,
Hoodie Mello,
and Yusuf Nurkic out there. Versus the Rockets rolling, 6'5" PJ Tucker and goddamn Rocco at the 5. Like, it's an amazing look at NBA play styles. And truly, this is, one of the ultimate tests for Mike D'Antoni. And we're going to see, him earn his creds here because I think the Rockets can do it. I think healthy Brody finishes out the first round. They're full fucking in gear by the second round. and I want the Rockets to go to the Western Conference Finals out of this one. Rockets over Blazers. But man, what a Cinderella story it would be if the Blazers made it.
How many games? You said Rockets. Six.
I think it's 6. I think these are really close games. It's just Damian Lillard can go for about 90 at this point. It wouldn't shock me.
Soapy said in Twitch chat it's about 150 plus a night.
Yeah, I mean that's a thing. But you know what'd be crazy?
What?
I'm just gonna my boy Sean.
Yeah.
Boy Sean Anderson had this crazy theory about the Blazers going to the playoff. And I understand that.
No, went to the finals and won it after trading for Blake Griffin.
Right. But what if they did it without Blake?
Ooh.
I mean, at that point, we just turn around to Sean and be like, I forget what bet, because I think
we
there was
gotta
a bet.
have him on. I think there was. I gotta go back and find it. There was. You're
If
right.
the Blazers win the first round, we'll just look it up. We're just Sean. What's your next fucking prophetic, whatever? Like, wow. At that point, I did not expect the Blazers season where it started and where we're at now.
It's funny you say that because even if I had Blazers Rockets, I would still pick the same team to win.
You picked the Blazers.
But I've got Blazers Thunder. The Thunder, it's been a nice ride. You're getting bounced in 5. I'll give you one game. Me giving you one game is me being nice. Because this Blazers team is on a fucking mission this year, Dave. The Rockets one would be more. I would probably say Blazers in 7 again. So for me, it'd be Blazers again, but like in 7. But yeah, if mine is right and it is Blazers Thunder,
yep.
Like that to me is the matchup for a Blazer fan I want to see because this Blazer team will just have too much in the tank for that Thunder team. Like, because think about how much energy it would take just to get past Harden and Brody.
Yeah.
Then you got to get past this Blazers team. Not a chance. And then the second game, so you picked Rockets, I picked Blazers to move on to the Western Conference Finals. In the next series, Clippers, Nuggets. I know we talked up the Nuggets in the Jazz series.
Yes, we did.
I don't know if there's one team I might pick. I still have not made that pick. That's how down to the wire we are. But I don't know if the Nuggets are a team that can beat Kawhi and PG and Pat Bev and Lou Will and Trez in a 7-game series. I just don't know. I'm going to say Clippers in 5, and that's me being nice to the Nuggets.
I think it's Clippers in 5 as well. They're a team that was made for one fucking reason. They were engineered for a championship. By God, the Nuggets are not going to stop them. Mm-hmm. They're a dominant force. When they're all there, it's disgusting. They are the epitome of modern day basketball. They've got the elitist of elite wings. They've got scoring threats off the bench and a big and a fucking guard. They've got defenders at almost every single position. The only thing this team lacks is an elite big man to guard the low post, but that's okay. They got the big Swifty and Zubats, and they'll be just fine. Because the goddamn Clippers, they're stupidly good.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I don't think we've seen them at their peak this whole season. We might have seen a game or two.
Mm-hmm.
So if everything clicks, and by the second round of the playoffs, Trez is in game shape, Pat Bev's in game shape, they're cooking, they're rolling, I don't want to be in their fucking way.
Eastern Conference Finals. Because that's all I have to say about it. I think that the Nuggets are a good team. They'll lose in 5. Eastern Conference Finals. You had what, Bucks Celtics or Bucks Raptors? Bucks Celtics. So
no, I had Bucks Raptors. I had the 1-2.
So Bucks Raptors you have. I have Heat Celtics. We went different ways completely.
Yep.
Bucks and the Raptors. Do the Raptors, like, here's the storyline for your game. Do the Raptors get back to the finals for a second year in a row without Kawhi? Or does Giannis finally get over the hump and get to the NBA Finals?
No soup for you. Raptors go to the finals. It's going to be legit. I think Raptors are going back to back. They literally lost again. They lost the best player in back. Can we talk about this? Because they lost literally the MVP of last season, the MVP of the play. Like, I know he didn't win the regular season MVP because obviously, but Kawhi Leonard is the best wing in the NBA. He can score from anywhere. He's a killer in the mid range. He's an insane level defender. Like, there's nothing that man can't do other than have a healthy quad. And they got back. They're just fine. They've continued to grow as a team, and they've done something that I don't think any other team really has been able to do, and that's have a sustained level of success at a high level because they've got an excellent president of basketball operations in Masai Ujiri. They've got a good GM. They've got an excellent head coach. They've got amazing support staff. They've got excellent development teams. Like they're truly one of the most well-run franchises in the NBA, and that's why Raptors are going to the finals.
I want to do it, Dave. I do. I have come into these predictions with the mindset of because in our Discord, a conversation about the Heat came up.
Oh, did it?
People were, or it was it was either that or playoff predictions were going out, and I was talking to Soapy and Sean about the Heat, and I came in the whole time. I'm like, just wait on my predictions. Just wait, because there was a part of me that already had this premeditated.
Yep.
But in my mind, I don't know if I should pull the trigger because I have Heat Celtics and
really Boston started.
And the Celtics are a good team. They are a good team. They've got all the pieces. Yes, the Heat have Jimmy Butler, but the Celtics, Gordon Hayward's really good. JT's really good. Brown is really good. Walker, compared to Jimmy's, where it's Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Kendrick Nunn.
Adebayo, not you.
Adebayo. I would love to pick the Heat. I would love to do it for the Vine and pick the Heat, but I gotta pick the Celtics in 6.
I thought you were all in. I was like, Heat going to the finals, baby.
I wanted to do it. I wanted to, but I'm gonna say Celtics in 6. I'm gonna give the Heat respect. I can't wait for when this Heat team has Giannis on it and they go to the NBA Finals. But that's besides the point.
Milwaukee's
joke
gonna
out there.
Roast us.
That's a joke out there. But now moving on to the Western Conference Finals, you've got Rockets, Clippers. Is Brody and Harden enough to get past Kawhi and PG?
Dude, this is the toughest matchup in the world. It's possible. If there are two men who can will a team over the top to an NBA Finals appearance, it would be Russell Westbrook and James Harden. No team deserves it more than them. No coach deserves it more than Mike D'Antoni. He has done something with a roster that, whether he agreed with the moves or not, clearly didn't agree with several of these moves. He's made the most of it and played to their strengths and done something that the entire league has called him crazy for and done nothing but succeed. Year in, year out, he made James Harden the best offensive weapon since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain fucking numbers out there. He is doing things that people don't appreciate right now because it's the norm. He just averaged 37, 36 points a game, near triple-double. That's just who James Harden is. He's normalized insanity in an offense. Defending at a different level. I think he led the league in steals this year too. So no longer James Harden the slacker, James Harden the non-defender, all this bullshit, the horrible narratives made up by the media to slander this poor man, his amazing beard. I really want the Rockets to win this. I really do. But there is just something so broken about having Paul George, Kawhi Leonard on a team together with the amount of depth and talent that they have. And I don't think I can overlook them. Like I said, last round, it was a team built to win a championship. And I'm just going to ruin it right now and say they are my champions. They will defeat the Rockets. And spoilers, they will defeat the Raptors.
So Dave's saying Clippers in how many games for each? They beat the Rockets in.
Beat the Rockets in 6. I think it's a very good series, but I don't think that Eric Gordon or Rocco or Rivers, Austin Rivers, or House, they got so many of these role players, just don't know if they can hit on a consistent nightly basis.
How many games do they beat the Raptors in?
5.
Okay, so it's
no, it should be 6. It should be 6. That sounds mean. Like 4?
Dave's I don't want all of Toronto to come after me.
4? No, it's just That's my problem. Here's the thing that I've taken zero consideration. I will say it out loud at this point. If Kawhi Leonard gets hurt and his quad gets worse, this is a fucking scratch my entire Western Conference going through because that is a different story.
Yeah.
We're talking about somebody who top of the game to if his quad gives him problems, this team might not even make it out of the second round.
So for me, it's a different matchup. I've got Blazers Clippers instead of Rockets Clippers.
Yep.
Blazers in 7. And this is me. Logic be damned, Dave. I'm taking the logic. Baby with the bathwater. I'm throwing it right out the window behind me. This is a complete emotional pick for me. Complete emotion. I know that everything points to the Clippers being the pick I should make. I cannot.
Roll with it, man.
Cannot. This Blazer team, I have fallen in love with them this bubble. Like how Soapy fell in love with the Suns in the bubble. I have fallen in love with Portland in the bubble. I am going to ride them all the way. They will beat the Clippers in 7. They will then beat the Celtics in 7 games.
Yeah.
So
great. That's great. But will it happen?
I'm just putting it this way. Of what I see happening, realistically, I know I said Thunder, but think about this. This could be a team that if they win the finals, defeats the toughest road of any finals team. A LeBron AD team, a Brody Harden team, a Kawhi PG team, and then in the East, if it's Bucks or Celtics, Raptors, I don't know would fit this, but like a Giannis-led Bucks team or that Celtics team, if they win the finals, it's like there might be a team that has also tough opponents, but like that's a tough road. And to be able to win a finals,
and unfortunately, it would carry a big fucking asterisk with it.
And here's the thing
that we're not talking about.
Here's the thing from chat, Sean, Philly Sean. The kiss of death does not count for basketball. It has been like the kiss of death for me has been football only because every predictions I've had, I've picked the Warriors to win, and they've only not won once. So there's no kiss of death in basketball for me. Kiss of death in football, though, that's a different thing because teams miss the playoffs entirely. I've been the biggest Warrior dick rider the past few years. So that's why I don't feel like the kiss of death applies. But yeah, I'm going Blazers. Blazers to win it all. I'm riding it. I'm doing it for the Vine, doing it for the memes, everything under the sun. So that's our playoff predictions. Dave's got the Clippers hosting the Larry O'Brien Trophy at the end. I've got Damian Lillard finally getting his NBA title. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. But Dave, let's move on to a segment that we love to do each and every day. This is our daily Monday through Friday segment where we give a nod to the best performers of the day or the weekend before. These are the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, or sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys. Every single week or every single day, Dave gives a player he wants to give a special nod to. I give one. And then our patrons at the silver tier and above, patreon.com/MVPvids, they get to vote for their patron. And Dave, I'll kick it off to you. Let's get it going. Who's your wet boy for this past weekend?
My wet boy this past weekend has done nothing short of amazing since the season has restarted because it's a man who has not played basketball this year. He is Yusuf Nurkic. He's someone who, horrible injury to end his last season, worked the entire way on rehab, and all he did was just put the team on his back. Dude, I know Dame's got the gaudy numbers, but this man's getting it done down and dirty in the paint. He is doing all the little things. He's been fantastic in every which way you need him to be. Like, as far as complete big mans in the NBA, he is very much at the top of that list. Like, you have obviously your Joel Embiids, you have your Cats, you have your Jokic's. Those three are always fighting for that top spot for your best 5 man in the NBA. But I think your Nurkic is someone who gets overlooked often because of that injury, and now he's back and he's truly grinding it out.
And Twitch chat's giving you credit, Dave, because not only did he do everything you said, yesterday was an emotional day. For Jokic. Soapy is calling it granny game. as sadly Nurkic lost his grandmother, and all our thoughts out to Yusef, because obviously I don't know. I know I've lost a grandparent, so like I know what that is, but I don't know what it would feel like to, hey, here's a basketball game. Oh, by the way, you lost your grandmother right before you play that game. So Twitch chat giving Dave love for giving the love to Yusef Nurkic. I almost made it a clean sweep for not just NBA, but Portland Trailblazers. I snubbed Damian Lillard, to be honest with you, but I also snubbed Ja Morant. And I'm going to go ahead and give it to baseball. I'm going with Shane Bieber. I also accidentally clicked with my mouse and gave away the patron wet boy, but it's a guy who deserves love. But I'm going Shane Bieber. He's a guy that on Saturday, 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. He leads the league in strikeouts at 54 Ks on the year. Yes, I could have given this to Ja Morant. But yet again, it goes into, I know Sean has always had this discussion of like, why does it matter? Like, but he lost kind of a thing, that wins do matter for the wet boys. I know that I've been against that usually, but I know that you guys were like always, oh, but he lost. So
John Morant, I'm with you. I'm going to give a shout to John Morant just because he would have been my wet boy of the day, like had Nurkic not gotten the nod from somebody else. I mean, amazing game. His high scoring game in his career, actually, which is interesting because somebody was joking around on Reddit being like, well, it's a playing game, so technically it's not a regular season, but also it's not a playoff high. So, like, did it even count? I'm like, what kind of stupid, like, whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did it count for, like, stats? Like, is that playoff stats now for him? Is that regular season stats? I don't know how that gets categorized.
So, part of me would say I would count it as, with me personally, I would go off of the baseball rule, and it would be regular season. Where, like, for example, when the Brewers and Cubs finished tied, they played a 163 instead of the 162. So that's why I wouldn't say it's a playoff. But the patron wet boy, I'm just going to throw it up there as I move the thing back up because my Streamlabs was like, yo, we're going to show it early. Carmelo Anthony is the patron wet boy. And Dave, do I think he deserves the wet boy nod? Yes, because he did hit a dagger. He did have 21 points. But I'm just going to sit with those stats on the screen. Sure. And 3 rebounds, 1 assist. I know Melo isn't really an assister, but like 33% from the field. I was looking at this going, yeah, he had 21 points. Yeah, most of those points came from the foul line. He hit a dagger.
Yep.
Is this a weak wet boy from the patrons? I don't want to say they picked a weak wet boy, but looking at the stat line, I'm looking at it going, is this a weak wet boy?
Now, Ricky, is this a pot calling the kettle black situation here?
I know I've had weak wet boys too. That's why I'm not coming out and saying it's a weak wet boy. I am asking you who it is not the pot calling the kettle black if you say it's a weak wet boy. I'm asking the judge in this situation.
I'll say no, because this is kind of like a lifetime achievement wet boy almost for Carmelo Anthony. This is a welcome back to the NBA. You've gotten yourself in better shape than we've seen in a long time. You did move into a new position in the all-time scoring standings. You're doing what you've done best. You get bucket. Are you doing it efficiently? Fuck. But that's something you've never done in your career. You don't give a shit about that. You're a bucket getter. You're one of the better ones in the NBA. I still don't like him a lot, but I mean, Hoodie Melo, Olympic Melo, that man, amazing. This Portland Trailblazers Melo deserves respect, though, and I'm glad that the fans gave it to him. Well done.
Soapy's killing me in Twitch chat, Dave. He's like, all right, Zach LaVine, slow down, cowboy. I have given wet boys to Bulls when they probably haven't deserved it. So, like I said, I'm not calling it a weak wet boy. I wanted to ask Dave because the thought did cross my mind. And, of course, Sean saying that field goal percentage don't matter. But usually the wet boys that we have are usually above 50% when it comes to that. Dave, we're going to change things up a little bit because we've run long.
You don't say.
We're gonna move the next 2 things I have on the list. We're gonna move to tomorrow. The only thing before we get to our awards is I've got 2 things that we're gonna pull something from Games Live into Sports Live. On Games Live, I call it shorty but a goodie, meaning these are things I want to mention, but they're really short kind of things. We don't have a lot to say about it. The first one, I just want to get your reaction on it because I think it would be awesome. Des Bryant working out for the Ravens. What if Des Bryant and Lamar Jackson are on the same team, Dave?
I think that's a win-win situation right there. Des Bryant has had a rough stretch of luck. The man, he lost prime. He lost his prime of his career basically to injuries. I still think he's an NBA caliber wide receiver. As long as he's in decent shape, he's got good enough hands. He can run routes. He can help a team win. I think the Ravens are already, I think they're favored in every single game they play this year. Like, yeah, go help out. Go become a big bro to Hollywood Brown out there and help this team dominate even harder. Give them an even easier way to win games. I love it.
The other shorty but a goodie, and Sean mentioned this in Twitch chat. I had to throw it in here. Here's a tweet sent little over 2 hours ago from a Mr. Johnny Bones. Just got off the phone with UFC. Today I confirm that I am vacating the light heavyweight championship. It's officially up for grabs. It's been an amazing journey. Sincere thank you to all my competition, UFC, and most importantly, you the fans. Dave, John Jones vacating the light heavyweight championship.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. He was already having contract issues with the UFC over his next opponents. He had called someone out publicly that didn't get followed up on. Like, I understand the frustration on his end, and maybe the next fight for him is Stipe. We didn't talk about it, but there were some fights over the weekend.
Yeah.
Sadly, Sean O'Malley, Sugar Show, went down looking like a bit of a bitch. No, I love him, but like,
ooh, Jake gonna be mad at you, man.
He went down to leg kicks, basically.
But he got injured.
He went down to leg kicks.
Didn't he like tear? Like Jake was saying, he like I thought it was an ankle. Jake said he might have torn ACL.
He went down to leg kicks, basically.
Okay.
He had the back of his leg fucking kicked out so many times that he got drop foot, basically, and then he rolled his fucking ankle and broke it.
He stepped on the like roof of his foot, the top of his foot, which looked painful as all fuck.
Don't care. Like, it was a fun match, but people who are like defending him and all this, I don't care for it. Like, he lost fair and square.
Yeah.
I do think that, you know, the whole Miocic shit with the straight eye poke looks bad. Looks not so good. But you know, we could see some John Jones versus Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight, so that would be hot.
So you're saying John Jones is like, I'm gonna vacate, and if I'm signing a contract, it's to
my next fight's going for the heavyweight.
Okay.
I don't even give a shit about because that's where the money fight's at. You know. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. John Jones, again, he's one of those guys who gets in his own way more often than not. So like, this whole thing could just be a horrible mistake, and like, yeah, we'll find out in a couple months.
Which wet boy, that reminds me, we could have gave DC a wet boy because he retired. Like, wet boy for his career, kind of like how Sean did it for who is that Thunder player that shouldn't have gotten
retired with UFC?
Yeah,
it's a state of mind.
Like, DC will come back when
if there's a fight ready for him and the payday is big enough, then
there's a title attached to it. Like, he'll come calling.
There's a chance. People like to call out people.
David, we're gonna end the show with the
lifetime. Thanks, Sean, Philly Sean, for that.
What did you say? I cut you off.
Collison.
That was it.
Lifetime.
I couldn't remember it. But let's move on. Last thing we're gonna do on the show. Sorry, Soapy, we're running long today, but I told you beforehand that this was going to be a long one with the playoff predictions. We're doing our first ever MVP Sports Live NBA Awards, this one for the 2019-20 season. Because this season's a little unique, Dave, I had to ask you how you wanted to do it, bubble only or complete season. We have decided this is going to encompass the entire season. Everything played before the stoppage, everything played after the stoppage. So we've got a couple awards we're going to give out. Dave, I'm going to let you go first. Let's start with a small one. We'll work our way up. We'll leave MVP to the last one. But we'll start with a small one, a little easy one, a little palate taster. Who's your rookie of the year?
John Morant.
a question.
I just threw a soft one up for you to.
Were
knock
there
it out of
other
here.
rookies this year? I didn't see any. I saw a grown-ass man.
Cam Johnson
dominate.
played well. I'm not saying rookie of the year, but he played well. He was a rookie.
If I could throw this at you, I would right now. I would just
He
chuck
played
it.
well in the bubble.
Great. You know who played well the whole fucking season?
The rookie of the year.
Bryant, who is the rookie of the year. The man who basically led his team to a playoff berth as a rookie, got screwed because of the bubble, and did not get into the actual playoffs. But, just had a fantastic season. He's basically like Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose-esque out there, people calling him, which I don't agree with 100%. But, look, he's explosive and he can't figure out how to land yet. So, I understand where the comp is coming from. But he strokes from the outside. He is a creative passing genius. As soon as his teammates get on the same page as him, turnovers are going to go down. He's going to keep getting better. This is just the beginning for this Grizzlies team. They are going to be disgusting for years to come.
So I'm not going to be an edgelord here. I'm going to pick
Say
John.
Zion, I'll drop on the call.
I'm going to pick John Morant. But there's a part of me that was like, Zion did average. I saw something where it's like Zion hasn't averaged numbers like this since Michael Jordan. I was like, see, rookie of the year.
Points per game in his rookie year. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's my little rant about Zion. And I know people are going to say rookie, but he qualified and played a certain number of games.
There's no bottom line for games played in rookie of the year.
No, I know that. I know that.
People who say that are wrong.
And I know he was nominated, which takes away from this, but I feel because of how little he played this year, he should get the Ben Simmons treatment, and he should just be counted as a rookie next year, and then win the award next year.
Completely.
He should just win it next year.
Correct.
Then Ja gets it this year.
More games in the regular.
No, Dave, I understand that. I'm saying I understand that. This is my little rant that Zion would have been rookie of the year if and the Pelicans too. I had if they weren't minutes restricting him and then the stoppage happened. Yet again, Ja's the rookie of the year.
It wouldn't have.
But I feel like Zion, Zion getting shit on for no reason. He should be. I should have had a chance to be rookie.
I think leads in plus minus negatives as a rookie, which is just an incredibly dumb number.
There's a part of me that wants to say plus minus. We talking about hockey? Because that's the only time I care about plus minus.
Oh, you should.
I get defense and that, but it's the NBA.
You should really consider it as an NBA level stat. You can look at a lot of advanced stats around Zion Williamson and see how awful of a defender he is and how it contributes to his team losing more than winning, regardless of the points he scores. He's a net negative on the court right now.
I am just saying. There's my Zion rant.
Sure.
Next award. This one I feel like is also an easy one, so I'll go first. Most improved player. It's BI. No question to me, it's BI. This is something where what he looked like, and this is one I guess you could put into comeback, but he was never really good with the Lakers. We thought he was going to be good because of what we saw in college, but then he never got it going with the Lakers, and then he gets traded to the Pelicans, and it's like, holy shit. If this is what BI could be.
That he did do good with the Lakers when LeBron went down, and I think he had about a 15 to 20 game stretch.
But I'm saying
an issue came up. He was putting up dominant numbers as the guy with the ball in his hands.
But I'm saying he didn't do well. When it comes to comeback player of the year, this is somebody that was at the level, and then they got knocked down, and then they're coming back to that level.
I thought you said this was the most improved.
Yeah, no, I mean comeback player would be someone like the ones that I've seen people throw out, like a Melo, like a Nurkic, those type, where it's they were already established. Yes, BI played well when LeBron went down, but the pre-LeBron days, BI wasn't anything to write home about. That's why I'm saying I'm putting him for most improved, because this is an improvement over what we saw for the majority of his time with the Lakers.
Oh, yeah, no, I also have BI as my most improved, and I'm not arguing that fact. Yeah. I'm just saying,
I'm just clarifying.
We saw what he was going to be at his end with the Lakers. He continued from pre-injury BI to post-injury BI and continued on the same level of excellence. He's a player who, when we drafted him, when we talked about his draft, the Ben Simmons BI thing, we always joked about there's no competition
at this draft time because it's just Ben Simmons is the guy and BI is the potential. And when you look at the changes that BI has made to his game, he's slowly morphing his game to be similar to Kevin Durant's. He's learning to use his body. He's no longer, driving hard at the hole and not having that confidence. He can pull up and take shots now. He's shooting incredible splits from the outside on high volume. He is deadly from everywhere. He is still good defensively. He just needs to continue to grow his game, grow his comfortability with his body, and bump that basketball IQ up a little bit on his passing game. Ooh, he is deadly. He is one of the best players in the NBA. Now, I see you out there, Soapy. I see you saying Devontae Graham. And here's why I didn't vote Devontae Graham. Because somebody had to do it. Because somebody had to score points for this team. Because the Charlotte Hornets were so bad that somebody had to do it. And it doesn't take away from the fact that he is a good chucker and he is a above average ball handler and he is a good bench point guard. All of those things are true. If he didn't have to carry Terry Rozier's bum ass in a starting lineup, that team would have been, perhaps better. But I don't think that we had seen the growth because it was like BI was like the son who was promised. Like this was the legend. This was fulfilling what we had read about him. And that's why it feels better than Devontae Graham, who is a 24-year-old rookie. Yeah. I mean, it's like a Kendrick Nunn. Like there's a reason Kendrick Nunn also didn't get it for me. Well, I'm sorry, not most improved rookie, but point being, it's just he's an older guy and he took a lot of shots, a lot of fat stats on a very, very, very bad team.
What about comeback? We'll just segue it because I even had to ask Soapy, what to you is the difference? Because I couldn't find it, and Soapy described it as comeback player is when AP came back from his injury. That's a comeback because he was up here, injury brought him down, and then he came back up to that level. Who would be a guy that you would put for comeback player of the year this year? An award that NBA doesn't give out, but we're going to give it out.
I think they haven't given it out since about 1985, if my research found me right. It's a tough one because you could say a couple of guys. I think that you could look at someone like Carmelo Anthony, and understandably, he was out of the league last year. And this year he has been the clutch guy. Well, not the clutch guy. He hit one clutch shot for the Trailblazers when they needed it most. And I want to give him that credit. I think you can look at someone like a Markelle Fultz, who basically coming off of a weird injury that has taken him years, he is now a starting level point guard in the NBA. I really want to lean to Markelle. I'm trying to think of anybody else who the Nurkic thing is great, but it's 8 games. It's tough to give an award based off of 8 games. If these were bubble only, sure. But he literally did not play before the bubble, so I can't give him credit.
Oh, did Dave cut out on me? He has frozen. Uh-oh. First ever Dave internet on the show, causing problems. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here then while Dave fixes his situation. He cut out. Yeah, that was an internet situation, Dave, and I see you're back. I don't know if you can hear me. Camera's coming back. Oh, he's trying to talk. I can't hear him talk. Soapy's finally, it's not me. Soapy knows all about this on Games Live. But while Dave fixes his issues, you can see him next to me. Maybe he can hear me talk. Mine is a little bit easier. And it's going to be someone from that Portland team. And I would give mine to Hassan Whiteside. Mainly because this is Whiteside stepping up for Nurkic when he was out. And these are numbers from Hassan Whiteside, 15.5. Oh, he's back. He's back. I can see him.
You can see me?
Yes. Was that the
it's the webcam.
Oh, okay.
The webcam's literally killed me.
What happened with it?
It died completely, and it froze my... I could still hear you the whole time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
It was just
I
the
just
webcam
assumed
decided
internet.
it was going to murder our connection.
Oh, okay.
Never froze on my end. Never had any audio issues. Weird.
Oh, okay.
Just decided to not work and break my entire Discord call. So I had to jump back out. It's okay.
We'll just pick it up where I was. So I was kind of going with it.
You said
with
Whiteside.
Hassan Whiteside. Like, these are numbers: 15.5 points per game, 13.5 rebounds per game. Leads the league with about 3 blocks per game. Like, these are not we haven't seen these numbers from Hassan back when it was 2014, 2015, or 2015, 2016 Hassan with the Miami Heat. His first 2 years with Miami after moving to them from Sacramento, where he only played 19 games in 2 years. So for me, like, that's the guy I looked at and I was like, you know what? It might be a sneaky comeback of the player. Most people might want to give it to Melo or Nurkic, but like, that's a guy I would lock in on because of how much last year and even like a little bit this year coming in. Like, I feel like we've shit on Hassan Whiteside, and like rightfully so, a little bit. But like, he put up good numbers this year when the Blazers needed him.
Whiteside sucks so bad. He is such an awful player who on paper looks good. My wet boys, it's Markel. I'm sorry, not
Your comeback.
Jesus. Comeback player is Mark Elful. But no, I understand why on paper Whiteside looks good, but like, he doesn't help them. It felt like he didn't help them win games after about the third week of the season. Philly Sean there saying he was good early, but he was bad towards the end. I think the early was very short. I think it was a matter of weeks. And then the hype train overrolled, and then it came back down to earth very quickly for him. So I like him, but like not like that, you know?
Defensive player of the year. Do you have anyone but Giannis? Because for me, like, the only one I can think of is Giannis. Like, AD maybe, but I'm giving it to Giannis.
AD was up there. Jonathan Isaac had been there prior to his injury. The first one, not the second one. That man cannot catch a fucking. I wish him all the health in the world. Excellent defender out there. Other guys who should get shout outs. Probably Robert Covington. We can talk about Bob Covington for a second here. Like, this man's
Did you just call him Bob Covington?
Bob Covington. Boco, as some people say.
Boco. I love it.
The man defends 1 through 5. Like, it's I want to give him credit. He basically he was able to change the way the Houston Rockets season was going.
Yeah.
His addition to that team made them a different beast. So I think that he deserves a shout out. But it's the G unit himself in Giannis. Like, he's everywhere, fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Arms, help defense, one-on-one nightmare. I think OG Anunoby, low key, is one of the best lockdown defenders. Great in open space as well. Like, there's a lot of these fun wings out there, but like, Marcus Smart, I always forget about him, and Ben Simmons from Philly Sean. So 2 great call outs, but Giannis is hard to topple right now.
I mean, another one that I've seen like people throw out there is obviously Rudy Gobert every year. But I just think I think it's hard to not put Giannis as the defensive player of the year. 6-man Dave. Moving on into our 6-man of the year. Is it not Lou Will? Is someone other than Lou Will finally going to win this award?
Yes. Dennis Schroeder.
Okay.
Thank you. You're welcome. He has been a difference maker on that Thunder team. He is one of the big reasons why they are a playoff team. He has been amazing for them coming off the bench. It's funny because you look at his stats, and I think he averages more minutes per game than Giannis does, actually, which is really saying something because, like, Giannis just blows people out, and it's just like, I'm done. But Dennis Schroeder, he's a 6-man, so technically he doesn't start, but he is a starting caliber guard on any team in the NBA. So I have to give it to him. Their 3-guard lineup, I mentioned earlier when we did our playoff preview talk, is extremely effective. It's a unique twist on a modern offense, and the ball movement it gives him is great. He's just a smart player. I know he had some off the court shit going on in previous years. I don't honestly know what the common sense around his off the court shit is, but all I can say is on the court, excellent six man. He deserves the credit for it. Lou Will, yes, you're a great scorer. Yes, you move the offensive needle, but like Dennis Schroeder deserves the credit this year.
So before the last two big ones we've got, I'm gonna go.
Who's your six man?
Lou Will. It's easy. Like to me, it's I'm white bread here. I'm Lou Will. We're like
is this the Lou Will Award? Is this just we're renaming award now?
Like so, this Clipper team would be obviously very different without him, and it's almost like in this fact, I'm almost thinking it like MVP, where sometimes
like he's gotten
people
worse
think
2 years in a row,
but. I think what he brings to this Clipper team makes him the most valuable sixth man. We're like, there's a part of me that's like, Trez would be third, Schroeder would be second, Lou Will would be one for me. Like I said, white bread here. I'm not going like, there's no tastiness here. This was the only award where I was like, how, like, do I want to go Schroeder? Do I want to go Montrez? But no, this one I'm just sticking plain. Whether people think it's wrong, I'm just going to stick plain. It's Lou Will. Lou Will's it. And I'm assuming the camera broke down for Dave. Again, the new webcam I gave him. Can Dave still hear me? No, he can't. He's not even in the call whatsoever. So he cannot hear me. We'll wait for Dave to come back, and then we got our final three. We still got Best Play, which we're going to do next. We still got Coach of the Year, which we're going to give out. And then we got MVP, the last three. That we're going to do to end the show. Webcam giving Dave problems. Let's see if Dave is back. That's what's going on in Twitch chat. YouTube, thanks for staying along with us. Hashtag on the court. Hashtag on the court.
Can you hear me?
Hey, don't take Dave's white bread thing. I can hear you.
No,
I can't.
I can't.
Oh, you can't hear me.
Could be a problem. Could
be a big problem. So we'll wait for Dave to get his technical issues kind of fixed up here. Sorry for the technical delays. It would not be an MVP show if we didn't have some sort of technical delays. But for everyone on Twitch, stay tuned. Games Live is coming. Soapy, I'm sorry I'm taking up your entire night as we are now usually schedule-wise an hour later, but now usually a half hour later. I see the green thing around your name. I just don't hear anything. Oh, I heard some static. Soapy's like, no problem, man. It's okay. Just missing some basketball games. That's all I'm going to be doing. Philly Sean LeBron.
Yep.
Oh, can you hear me? I can hear you.
I can.
Okay, I can hear you. It's the webcam, isn't it?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
It is.
Do we know why it is?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Can you still hear me?
You're cutting out a little bit, but
okay.
Whatever. There we go.
We'll have to fix it after this. Usually our shows aren't this long. But we got 3 left. Let's hope the webcam can get right through. I wonder if it's because you don't have the Logitech like program on there. That's the only thing I can think of, because like for me it never gave me a problem. And that's the only thing different that I had. But what I was gonna say is the next one we'll leave Coach and MVP. Do you got a best play of the year, Dave?
No
Best play of the year. No play that jumped out to you. Devin Booker game winner.
Really?
Maybe the one that happened.
That was a great follow. That was a bubble. That was a bubble moment of the year for me.
Technically the regular season. If you don't, I got one.
If I could remember the regular season before COVID, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a shame, but I don't remember literally basketball before COVID. It's kind of a blank spot in my memory.
I've got one. And yes, it is a Bulls moment. Zach LaVine, when we were down 9 against the Hornets, I think it was 9 against the Hornets, or it might have been double digits, hitting that, like, it was a inbounds pass under the basket. He hits a game-winning 3 and basically scored the last 9 points of that game to win us. It was way back in November. This was 10 days after Dave had just turned 30 years old. We won 116 to 115. He had 49 points and went 17 of 7 in the game. That would be my best play of the year. Obviously a little homer there, but that would be my best play of the year. Is maybe a moment, but that 3, the way he fucking hit it from the outside, I remember going crazy. And that was one of the games that I did a reaction to. But last 2, coach, MVP. Dave, who's your coach of the year this year?
Bet there, Nick Nurse.
It's easy.
I mean, you got to go with the Toronto Raptors. They won more games they're on pace to win more games without Kawhi Leonard than they did when Kawhi Leonard was on their team.
I like how on the sheet you actually put that dare Nick Nurse.
I did. That's the way I wanted to land that one. He's a really good coach. They again, you can't say enough about what they've done with that offense, what they've done with the pieces. They're getting so much out of guys. Their player development's just absolutely tip-top shape. So, credit to Nick Nurse. Shout out. Bud was obviously, you got to give him credit, but I mean, it's like I want to give credit to people who have done something new. They've changed the way they work. This Bucks team is like last year's Bucks team,
but without Giannis.
No, it's Giannis.
Sorry, not Giannis. I'm thinking the
Brogdon.
Raptors without Kawhi. That's what I'm thinking.
It's like, okay, you lost Brogdon. You replaced him with a little bit of Pat Con, a little bit of Kyle Korver, a little bit of somebody else.
But Nick Nurse lost arguably the best player from last year's playoffs. Or even
so that's why it's like you got.
Yeah,
that's the way I weighted it. So that's why I had to go with that there, Nick Nurse.
That's why with me, like when I saw the finalists or the nominees. Part of me wants to put even Billy Donovan ahead of Bud because like expectations kind of come into it too, where we expected the Bucks to be number 1 in the East and they didn't blow us away being number 1 in the East. We're like with the Thunder, although Billy Donovan doesn't win it for me, I agree with you. It's Nick Nurse for basically the Raptors looked like they hadn't lost a step this year and they lost Kawhi. The Thunder, I would just put Billy Donovan at second because of the expectations the majority of us had in it, where we didn't expect the Thunder to make the playoffs, and they did. But in the end, Nick Nurse would be coach of the year. And then the granddaddy
Dan Antoni
of them
for me
all.
is runner-up. I'm just saying Dan Antoni, runner-up. I mean, small ball. Fucking meme on that. You can't anymore. The man's a fucking machine as far as the NBA offense. He's a savant. And if that front office makes a mistake and does not give him a fat boy contract, I mean,
they've got to.
I mean, would the Bulls not be interested? Would the Bulls not be interested?
Apparently, Kenny Atkinson is, how do you say it? Kenny
Atkinson, yeah.
Kenny A. He's the guy, the leading candidate, according to
he can be
sources.
Basically a lock, but if Mike Dan Antoni is available, and we don't just back up a fucking Brinks truck, like we're doing something wrong.
So Dave, Philly Sean's already calling for it. For MVP, he's saying give LeBron the respect he deserves. Who's your MVP? Given the MVP.
It's Giannis. Hard G for all you Milwaukee fans out there, because I love it. No, Giannis is just he's so damn good. He's the best player on the best team in the East. Like, he is, I don't know how to say it. Like, he's the best defensive player. He's like the 3rd best offensive player in the NBA. It's hard to argue with the results of the regular season. It is a regular season award. That's kind of where I stand. I understand the case for LeBron James, but I feel like the LeBron James shit is just because he LeBron has a narrative. Like, no, it's the narrative.
Oh, okay.
Like, if you weren't, this is the LeBron Lakers team and it's his time to come back and win it with Anthony Davis and all this. Like, I feel like the media narrative around LeBron James is so strong. That's what's given it win. He's had a great year. He is facilitating at one of the highest levels I've ever seen. He's moving the ball. He's in great shape. He's got the hustle on almost all year round. Like,
he's done well. He is playing excellent. Like he is again top of the NBA, but it doesn't mean he's the best player.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go out on a ledge, Dave. And the only reason I'm picking this guy for MVP is because we have had a unique season this year.
I'm already feeling the face palms hitting the fucking chat.
And when I asked you before we did, how do you want to do it? Regular season only, regular season and bubble, just bubble, and you said, okay, we'll just do like everything. I'm glad we did it that way because this is a unique year. Therefore, you get a unique MVP from me. Where if we just did everything before COVID, Giannis or Harden would have been my pick. And the NBA usually, like the NBA said they're just doing before COVID because they're doing their little bubble awards, which is fine. Devin Booker can get a bubble MVP now. But for me, I'm going against the Giannis pick, even though he is number 2 for me. You got to give Dame the MVP.
It's been a great show, everybody.
Numbers wise this year, he has been good. And I don't even care if Dave dropped. I'm giving my thoughts before the end of the show. But this is just one where all year he's been good. The bubble, he picked it up a extra degree on this. We'll actually do one of these and I'll go solo mode. My fucking DSLR's not working. It's like, haha, Ricky, we don't even want you to do this. I'm going to do one of these and do one of those. We should be back with the DSLR. Fuck it. Didn't work. I'm coming back. So, Dame to me is my MVP. His stats are there. His performance in the bubble is there. Dave just quit. Dave is out. Dave said bye. That's a good show because that's how Dave is. But yeah, Dame is my MVP. And that's why when I asked Dave, how do you want to do it? Just regular season and bubble. I'm glad he said everything because you got to respect Dame for the bubble and what he did before the year. He's been doing it all year. He picked it up into an extra gear in the bubble when Giannis wasn't there. And I know you could say, well, Giannis didn't have anything to play for. Dame did. But that's it. That is my MVP. But that's going to do it for MVP Sports Live. I wish I could give a little nod to my beautiful co-host, but he's not there. He dipped. And maybe it's the webcam, he said in Twitch chat, bad camera day. But yeah, I ain't going back. But that's going to do it. Let us know what you guys think down below about any of our playoff prediction, award predictions. What are your award predictions, your playoff predictions? Let us know down below. Remember, patreon.com/MVP is where you can support us. Discord, there is a link in the description for YouTube for the Twitch people. I'll drop it in there again. Boom. There's the link to get into our Discord so you can talk with everyone from the MVP family. You can also, my draft videos will come out next week after the draft lottery. I decided to wait until after that. And I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. I don't think I am. Podcast services eventually. But yeah, that is going to do it. If you're on Twitch, stay tuned. Games Live is coming up next. But for everyone watching MVP Sports Live, thank you for watching. And as always, have a good day, everybody.